Well, that's a good start for today. Straw bale garden, getting going on the garden. Probably, you know, every year's a little different. As you are a gardener, you would know that we're into the good into the second week of May, and believe it or not, we had 31 degrees, so we had frost last night. So I'm happy I put all of the bedding plants that we have gotten so far in the carriage house, and none of them went in the ground, so we didn't have to worry about them or covering them. Probably could have started the bales a little bit earlier. You can start them because as you're conditioning your bales, that happens inside the bales, and a little frost is not going to hurt it. But we're also on time, 14 days, they'll be ready to go. I'll be planting some of the other garden flowers and coming this way. You noticed I have a little bit of an expansion because I have all kinds of extra time, as you know, to do a bigger garden. So yeah, we're gonna do a bigger garden. Just a few more bales because I'm gonna do more veggies in there, more flowers in the ground as I keep figuring out how to garden. Yeah, 45 years later, I'll figure it out. Maybe, something like that. But with 2 more rows, and the way I have this set up, there's a couple good videos to watch. One with Joel Karsten himself came down, helped me set up the first time, and then I've done a couple other videos about my straw bale gardening. Very easy, especially when it's all set up. So adding 2 more rows is not going to be that big of a deal. So in the end, I will have a total of 24 bales here, and then I do them 3 at a time. And concept is there's usually a couple bales that are good from still okay from last year, and I move those into my first rows and shorter, put some other things in because you can grow 2 years in a bale, but sometimes they're totally just trashed out, and after the second year they really are trashed out. So I'm starting 18 new bales, and I'm going to pick 6 from last year's 12 bales. That'll make it over here, and then we'll see how this rotation works. Start somewhere between 15 and 18 bales each year and moving things over, and then the other bales become compost. But this is going to do it for tonight. I'm going to come out in the morning, do a little bit more. I'm hoping that I'll be able to start the conditioning on the bales because it goes so quick because it's all set up. You just pull up the bales, set them over there, put the new ones in, start conditioning. So it is so easy. We'll talk more tomorrow. Thanks for following along. Well, prepping the new space, so fairly easy. If you're giving straw bale gardening a try, or if you've done it, it's fairly easy. I don't want to say that it's rocket science, it's really hard and all those things. There's a few things that you want to do along the way, but that's like any gardening. When you garden, you know, you have to do it. Experience is the best, where you just build on each year. I'll figure it out one of these videos, how many years I've been doing this, since 2020, 2021, and around there. So 5-6 years, slowly dialing in what I want to do and how I want to do it and what goes where. but I still work on that every year because I'm adding 2 more rows, 6 bales, and I'm not even sure exactly what I'm planting in them yet. That sounds funny. I'm not one of those that starts in January and February with the seed catalogs and plot out every single thing at the garden. I just don't work that way. Some people don't like that. You know who that is. There you go. So the one little tip, which you probably know if you're this far into watching these videos, when they bale, and I don't really know, I baled once or twice in my life up at Charles one year. That was fun. Anyways, as the baler pulls the straw in, it pushes it to one side and it folds one side over. What's that? How's that make a difference? So this is the side that kind of gets folded over, and it's really easy to see that it's there, and you'll know the big difference. The one side where the straw gets pushed against the baler wall, all the ends get pushed there, and that creates in essence what looks like little straws, and that's super important because that's where the water and pulls the fertilizer down into the bale to start conditioning them and makes life a lot easier. So looking at one that is the straws, and you can just see it's almost neat, but right where all the ends of the straw, like a straw, get that? A straw, yeah. So there versus this end that's there. So just that straw end goes up makes the conditioning and watering and everything easier. A lot needs to happen here. We can talk more over time. In the beginning, you may have saw me spraying. Yes, I did use some glyphosate. I have some undesirables out in the lawn, which you can't really tell because it gets mowed off all the time, but I don't want them in the garden. Most important thing, or one thing to understand, you can straw bale garden on your driveway if you wanted to. The roots do not grow in a season all the way through and out the bale into the ground. So anything that I grow in here is not going to be touching down to the glyphosate. I'd love to say that we're glyphosate free in this world, but that's not the case. You already know that. So and then some of this area where there's some yarrow that I really don't want growing in there. Yarrow's fine out in the prairie and it's other places, but not in my garden. Yeah. So we're gonna flip these, get the first start on condition, and then I guess I gotta get to work. Cheers. Yeah, there we go. Well, the first part of the conditioning is done. I can get all the poles. There's 12 days before I can plant in the bale. That's how long the conditioning takes. I said 15 earlier, but then again, you know, memory. It's 12. So on day 12. So if I did my math right, which I really didn't do, next Sunday I'll be planting in here, which will be just right because it's 12 days from Sunday. Conditioner down, BaleBuster, Straw Bale Garden Club. Check that out. I'll put some links somewhere. Make sure you find them. They are the ones, Joel and Kelly. They have it all dialed in. So if you have real questions, we'll get you to them. I can answer a handful on what I do and how it works, but we'll finish setting these up. We'll do a little bit more on that, but we're well on our way to a very successful garden this year. So that's going to do it. Glenn here at home in the garden with Glenn. You know that. There we go. Cheers.